The differences that hold some type of weight, that holds value in these gender wars that we've been seeing going around in the last several years in modern times. Why don't women understand men? And men don't understand women as well. If I'm being real, we don't. If I'm being somewhat comical about it, a lot of it is nonsensical. Matter of fact, that's not a comical statement at all. That's actual fact. A lot of the reasons why men don't understand women is somewhat nonsensical. But there's a lot of things that do hold some weight that we don't understand about women. You know, that could be in another video. But why women don't understand men? What are the determining factors in that, right? And one just off the top of my head is a lot of women think that men like promiscuous women. They think men, now we talking about solid men, real men that's looking for something serious, that's not just going through the ringer. He's actually looking and trying to get to know a real woman, you know, because they have this notion that, well, y'all like whores, y'all like sluts, y'all like things of this nature, y'all like promiscuous women. And what I see a lot is a lot of these women being that way and thinking they can get men that way. But really all that's going to get you is probably running around with different men, catching something that is hard to get rid of, if y'all know what I mean, and just going through every day, every time you turn around with different men. Because a lot of women don't understand the fact that we don't lust after promiscuous women. Do we lust after sexually clad women? Most of us do. If I'm being honest, most men do lust after those things. Whether it's a lot of men that's into strippers, a lot of men that's into these sexual deviant acting women. But here's the caveat in that. Do these men take them women serious? No. And they can't separate those two things. They can't separate the fact of lusting over wanting. A lot of women have that flaw. And what happens is they think, since you lusting after this is the type of woman you want. This is the type of woman you want to be with. And then you get these women going from modest and somewhat laid back down to earth to very brash, very outspoken, very dressing very provocative and things of that nature, because they think that's what men want. And when they don't understand the fact, well, if we go out and I'm dressed like this, ain't that what you like? No, a man rather have a woman that's going to stay home and dress like that. If it's just me and you, if we on some romance or whatever the case may be, women don't understand that. And some women do understand it. They just want to dress like that because they want other eyes on them and they like attention. We not talk about those type of women. Them type of women is just who they are, and they for certain people. Pretty much they for everybody. But we talking about when you have a woman and she's supposed to be in an exclusive relationship with you. Some of them really don't understand the idea of, well, this is what you like, this is what I see you watching, and when you go to a strip club, women dress like this. Baby, you have to understand. There's a difference between the two. That's more of a fantasy. This is reality. I don't want my woman dressing like that. But women don't understand it. They just don't. I don't think they ever will. The ones that don't understand it, they just won't. Another thing that women don't understand that they put on the surface with themselves is a man don't like a passed around woman. A man don't like a woman that been through every time Dick and Harry in sight. It's not a thing for us. They think on their landscape where, whether it's right or wrong, women been thinking like this for years, so I'm not even going to say this is a modern thing, y'all. If I'm being fair, it's just a woman thing. Women like men that other women like, if that makes sense. I know it came off kind of crazy, but I'm going to slow it down. Women likes men. They gravitate towards men that they counterparts also like. Meaning, if they see a guy and for whatever reason, women is attracted to this guy. even if they like, I'm gonna take it a deep further. Even if self-consciously, she don't find him that attractive. She probably don't think the guy is ugly, but she like, he ain't all that. If she starts seeing women gravitate towards this guy for whatever reason, it might not be looks, it might be charm, it might be charisma, it might be the way he dressed, the way he talked, the way he walked. That woman automatically like that guy for whatever reason. It's kind of like the analogy of if you got a bunch of thirsty women, and I mean actually thirsty, like drink thirsty, not thirsty in the other way. If you got a bunch of thirsty women, and there's two men, and there's a guy with a bucket of water giving women water, if more girls is at one guy, she not going to want the other guy with the water, even though his water tastes just like the other guy's water. She going to go to the guy that's giving out buckets of water where most of the women are. I hope they ain't go over y'all heads, but it's almost in that. If this guy only got one girl over there drinking water, but it's 13 girls over there, and they all thirsty, they dehydrated, you know, they need a quench for their thirst. That girl, for the most part, is going to go to the guy with 13 women waiting on that bucket of water. That's how it go, you know. And what getting back to the point, what they fail to realize is men not like that. Men don't care if other men like they woman. They don't. Now, do a man want a woman that's unattractive or that nobody wants, and like everybody deem this person objectively unattractive or something like that? If we go into that level, then no. I mean, it's not really a thing for us, but no. We don't find that endearing, but we don't care. Women, on the other hand, we think like them. They like men that every woman wants. And to go second level on that, they don't mind a man that been around the block. They don't. Women don't mind a man that had multiple partners in their past, in their present, in their future. Oh, you messed with this person. Now, they don't want it to be too touchy. They don't want it to be close to home, like you dated my sister, or I got a cousin that messed with you. It ain't that like deep, but if they the other women like this guy, or they know this guy been around, like his claim to fame is he been around the block, like he been with several women, like they don't mind that. What they fail to realize is men is the total opposite. If we meet a woman and we attracted to her and we like her and everything on the surface, everything gonna be cool. If a man finds out that a woman got a past or got a current or whatever, her looks become lower and lower in his eyes. Not saying it's going to be the end all be all. Some men stick around with them type of women. Some men leave them women alone, no matter how much they like them. But they can't like get in their mind that we're the total opposite of that. And like I said, women like the men that been passed around or whatever. I'm not saying it's right or wrong because there's nothing modern about it. I think that's been going on since our old heads and before them. It's just a mind thing with women. They don't mind a man that everybody had. They don't. If anything, they kind of like the guy more. They see a guy that they don't find, like on the flip side of that, I'm going to give y'all another scenario. If they see, let's bring it to social media terms. If they see a guy that they don't think nothing of, they don't think he attractive, they just don't like, there's no connection. On like social media, like Facebook or something. But then they look into them messages or what they call them DMs or message type joints, and they see a lot of women throwing fire emojis and when we gonna link up. All of a sudden in their mind, that man look attractive to them. Men don't think like that. To knock this point out of the park, women have to start realizing that men don't want no woman that been passed around. So when y'all walk around acting like y'all been there and done that, and not saying act like y'all probably really have been there and done that, it's not a flex. It's not something that's going to make a guy say, you know what, she look cuter now. Because she been with every Tom, Dick, and Harry known the man. I'm going to give her a shot now. I want her now. Women have those urges and cravings. And not all women are like that. Because I know women that don't, they want a mystery man. They want a man nobody knows. They want a man that they don't even know what his history is. They hope you don't have a history. So there is caveats and differences, you know, that makes some women waver to the other side. But if we being real, y'all let me know if I'm wrong. I think I'm right about this. Most women like men that been somewhere. And I ain't talking about to Los Angeles. I mean, been around the block. He's well known in these streets. He's known for slanging this and slanging that. Women be, for whatever reason, find it distasteful, but that's the truth. Women have to start knowing men ain't like that. We don't want nobody sloppy seconds. We don't. Now, we know we're not going to find a purest virgin woman. Like, if you a certain age, you up there at my age, y'all, you're not finding those type of women that's on a purity level. But when I say sloppy seconds, we don't want no woman that been through the ringer. And if we find out, not saying the man is going to automatically leave you, but your looks going to diminish just a little bit in his eyes. It's like she been with him. And even if you don't have no ties to these people or know these people at all, it just drops them down the peg. It just does. Women have to understand that as well. They just do. Another thing that women don't understand about men, and I think I hit on this on a prior video. I touched on it briefly. Women gotta stop using what they have to call themselves a catch. They gotta stop using the things that they got to say, I'm a good woman. What that makes you is, it makes you an adult. That's all it does. It makes you an adult. Because most people have these things. You might have them on a higher level than some, but most people have a car. Most people have a place to stay. Some people, they might say, have a pretty good job. Some people have good titles. And, like I said in the previous video, that don't make you less of a woman. It don't dilute your status or what a person think of you, but that don't make a man say she's a good woman because she's a supervisor at Target. And I'm not using Target as a euphemism, as a I'm just using at this hotel. She's the manager at this corporation. Men don't think that black and white. What we do is give you kudos or whatever for having those hierarchy establishments and things in your life that you done achieved. That's fine. And vice versa for men. People take their career and how they carry themselves and the things that they have seriously. So that's something to wear, but that's not going to say, for men's sake, this makes me a good man. Because I do, like I said, women think on that levels. A lot of these things is things that women think on them, but they think we like that. We're not like that. Men don't care about what you have, what you're going to have, what you got going for yourself, the year, make, and model of your vehicle, or what have you. Because in the grand scheme of things, men, we don't get nothing out of that. I just got to keep it real. Regular guys that got their own don't get nothing out of that. But what it does ring truth to is maybe a lot of women do like bums, because that's the only type of man that will get something out of that. A guy that, and I'm using bum loosely, but I'm being real. A guy that don't have as much, and maybe he's the type of guy that looks for women, they call them gigolos or whatever, that looks for women that have things to help them in their life. You would think women shouldn't even be looking for these type of men, and I'm not knocking nobody's hustle. I'm not, if it's men out here doing that, do you, player? I mean, hey, listen. But if I'm being real, women, I didn't know that was the prize. To find a man I could take care of. They claim the famous men, I want a man that, could take care of me. I don't know about all that either, if I'm being real. That's just me. Ain't taking care of nobody. But if I'm getting back to the point, what is that conducive to in saying that you have all these things? So the fact that you're a supervisor at Walmart or a supervisor at a hospital or a supervisor at a hotel, that makes you a good woman? No, what it does is it makes you an adult, sis. It makes you an adult, a responsible one, and one that strive for things. That's fine. If I was to call you anything, I would call you an adult, a responsible woman. And is that a character trait that men look for? Yes. But is we gonna say she's a good woman because she make $46 an hour? She gotta be a good woman. She's the one for me. Forget about her personality, her spirit, and her heart. I didn't check for those things yet. Because one of the first things she let me know was she drive a 2025 BMW and she make X amount of dollars a year. And she got a 5-bedroom house. Oh my goodness. I done found the catch of the year. Regular guys that got their own don't care about that. Because at the end of the day, what we gaining out of it? We not really gaining. So it's like, no, I want something I could gain from. How is your spirit? What type of woman is you? What type of mother is you? What type of person are you with other people? Can I bring you around my folks? Do you got a nasty mouth and a nasty outlook on life and a nasty, bad attitude? Are you going to be with me when times get rough? Things like that. That's what real guys, I know it sounds cliche, but y'all know. My real man, get in them comments, let me know. Ain't that? Now, you got sometimes in men's life where they not looking for that. That's for men that's not looking for nothing serious, period. So it don't matter what you about to some men. But for the most part, women have to understand that we're not them. Women tend to look for men that have status and have materialistic things because that validates them more and that makes them think I can get in with that. We must be going to some of the most best establishments and swanky restaurants because this man is holding and carrying that way. And I'm not saying that's a right way to think, because I don't think that's the right way to think for women either. But if I'm being real, women tend to do that and been doing it for a long time. So yeah, men don't care about what you got, sis. We don't care. We don't care that you're about to get a check next month for $3,000. We don't, unless we in it for that, and that's not the type of men you should want to be with. So it's like it's a lose-lose. You saying all these things, if that's getting a man up in arms with you, that's showing a sign that this man ain't really down for me. He down for what I got, or what I could potentially get, or what I got coming to me. Makes sense, right? All in all, women just need to start understanding how men are more. And don't get me wrong, men do need to understand how women are more. The things that hold some weight, not the frivolous things and the superficial things. We'll never understand that. We never will. But the things, it is certain things, if I'm being honest, y'all know how I am, it's things that men do need to understand about women. But this video is to show men are contrary to what y'all believe. We really not this way. My last point is the whole peace aspect. Women think men saying this is like a trend. This is not a trend. My daddy was like this. And my daddy is well into his 80s. My uncles was like this. Everybody I know that was real and solid at that point in their life, this is what they wanted. Peace isn't no modern made-up word that men use to get the women. We don't do that like y'all do. Y'all make up words on the fly and they sound good, so y'all use them. Men always want the peace. When y'all shun the fact that they always talk about that peace crap, they don't want no peace, they just boring, or they just in their bag, or they just stuck in their ways. No, it ain't that. Men really do like peace. Now, to that opposite end of the spectrum, is there men that don't give a damn about peace? Foolish men? Men that don't have no guidance or nothing with them? Yes. There's men that don't have no guidance at all. They don't have no intellect at all. They don't have no backbone. They don't have no stability. So there is a fraction of men that don't even care what peace is. Those men, I feel sorry for. Real men care about their peace. They care about respect. These things shouldn't be laughed at and shunned and talked about so matter-of-factly, saying like, oh, men is using this to get to us. Don't let them, because I see videos and vlogs of women talking to other women saying things, and it's like they think peace ain't a thing, and men do. We all know the world is hard for everybody, men and women. But men hold it to a higher standard for whatever reason, and they want peace. They want to come home to a place of peace, pretty much. That's what we want. We don't want to come home to babbling and nagging. We get that. We're going to get the nagging every now and then, because that's another trait that women have with them, that been with them for years. That's not new either. But when it's every day, when it's countless, when there's always something, when there's always an attitude, that's where it goes in the peace category, and a lot of men ain't going for it. For y'all to sit there and act like it's not a thing, or is this new wave, it's not modern. There's nothing modern about peace. A man home should be a sanctuary. And I'm saying on the home aspect, we talking about on any aspect. Because peace could come even if you don't live with the woman. Bring me peace. Bring me respect. Bring me trust. I know it sounds like fairy tales and clouds and rainbows, but believe it or not, on that level, not saying all men are these perfect, charming, Prince Charming guys that just want majesty and all that. But for real, that peace thing is a real thing for men, and y'all have to understand it, or y'all never get nowhere in this thing we call dating world. Because a lot of y'all think y'all shun it and y'all laugh at it and y'all think it's a made up thing, but it's not. So I don't mean to sound redundant. At the end of the day, we all need to understand each other, if I'm being real, for the things that hold merit, not those materialistic, superficial things. Both genders need to understand each other a little more, and I wanted to bring some awareness to that. If y'all like videos like this, hit it with a like. Comment down below. I would love to hear y'all feedback on this one. If y'all just stumbled across this video and y'all seeing my ugly face for the first time, don't be scared to tap that notifier bell to see when more videos like this come out. And as always, until the next time, I'll see y'all in the next one. I'm out.
So this is a real nerve center for the U.S. government.
Absolutely.
Was your grandfather involved with any of this?
He was in that bunker right there. This is the test site itself in front of us. They have to put
your family and your friends will betray you. And that's the part of life that a lot of us don't understand. We have these relatives that I don't know what happened to them. It's like they're not the same anymore. Your friends, they all switched up. Your family, they're always talking about you. They're never there to support you. You've always been there for your friends. You always reached out. You always would give them calls, send a text message, good morning messages, how you doing, how's your weekend. But it seems like they never reach out to you. It's as if though you don't exist. Same thing with your family. You try to have conversations. You try to be as friendly as possible. And it's almost like you don't exist, like you're the black sheep of the family. It's like everybody got a problem with you. You ain't do nothing to nobody, you don't disrespect nobody, but it's weird. And it's something that a lot of us been dealing with in today's day. Family betraying us, friends betraying us. And it's frustrating. It really is when you need someone to talk to, when you need a friend, family member, just for somebody to just kind of hear you out. You know, sometimes we just need people to listen to us, to hear our story, to hear what we're going through. And it's like nobody's there. It's a cold world. We're adults. We got to really move on. But at the same time, it's really frustrating to know how family and friends will betray you. It's something a lot of you may be going through. It's a thing that is very prevalent in society right now, where you don't even have family that you can communicate right now. Some of you literally are alone. Like, you are alone right now. Like, there are no family members you can actually call right now because they all betrayed you. And it's either they betrayed you or y'all just grew apart. And for some of your family members, you haven't seen them in years. You don't know what's going on. You don't know who's alive. You don't know who's dead. You just don't know what's going on. They don't even know if you're alive because nobody calls you. You still got the same number, but it seems as if though nobody cares to reach out to you. And it's sad because it's like when we were all kids, we had family that we were around all the time. We had cookouts, barbecues, picnics, family gatherings. You remember those days where your cousins would come over and you would ask your mom, your dad, can so-and-so stay over the night or at least over the weekend? You would play games and whatnot. And if your cousin had to go home, you would cry, like literally. And if they were allowed to stay at your house, man, it was the best time ever, man, because to be honest, the reason why it was so exciting as kids when our cousins and family would stay over is because we hardly seen them. And if you really take this moment while listening to this video and reminisce on back in the day, if you've been there where you had a cousin or cousins, and when they were allowed to stay or spend the night, it was the happiest moment ever. Put a comment in the chat if that's you. Because what you're reminiscing on is a time in your life where everything was perfect. It was a time when family meant something. The reason why you would be so happy that your cousins can spend the night is because you hardly ever seen them. And if the truth be told, guys, as much as we may think that when we were kids, our family was tight-knit, I'm here to tell you that I don't believe it ever was. And the reason being is we got excited and happy when our cousins were able to spend the night or spend the weekend and leave Sunday night because they had to go to school. Why would we get excited? Why would we cry if our cousins had to go home and they couldn't spend a night? The reason why we would cry, guys, is because we never hardly seen our cousins. And if we never hardly seen them and we were so excited to be around them, that should tell us that our family really wasn't as tightly knit as we thought. That is why it was such a special time, because we were allowed to spend some time with our cousins that we'd hardly ever be around. And that's why we missed them, because we didn't really spend that much time. So the time that we were able to have was such of great value to us that it meant everything, you know? And you could recall, you know, your uncles that would give you money. Typically, these uncles were always getting drunk, always drinking beer and liquor, but they would always give you money. And you would go out with your cousins and buy stuff, go to the arcade room and have a good time. And it was a wonderful time. You know, as a kid, it was a very, very special time to be alive, to have, you know, relatives and cousins and family that, you know, it was just a nice time. I mean, even if our families weren't as tightly knit as we would like, it was better than how it is today. Because most of us today, we don't even know where our cousins are. We don't know if they're alive. We don't know nothing about their kids. We don't know anything about them. And it's sad that in today's day, we're literally grown older. We all started families, and we have no connection to the people that we once had connections with. And I think that it's a sad situation because most of those family members from the past, they all betrayed you today. Most of you had fallouts with your cousins, the very same people that you once cried for, the very people that you longed to be around. Y'all all had fallouts. They betrayed you. They turned their back against you. And typically it was a time in your life where maybe you weren't doing as well, and maybe they thought they were doing perhaps better than you, or something along those lines. And they just turned their back on you. Or you just grew apart. You know, sometimes that happens in life where we get old. We get careers, we have kids, we might move to another city, another state, another borough, and it's like we just don't communicate no more. But maybe your mother was the black sheep of the family, and because your mother was the black sheep of the family, you inherit the same black sheep. Become jealous of us. Maybe you were the black sheep, and it'd be like that. Sometimes you may be victim of being the black sheep of the family because of your mother, or perhaps, sometimes it'd be like that. Most of the time, it's exactly what it is. You didn't want to take on that coat, but it's what it is. If family is beefing with your mom, then you being an offspring, you're gonna now take on that same punishment. And it's just unfortunate that family truly have betrayed most of us. A lot of your family today have betrayed you. They talk about you in a negative way. They're never there to help you. And it's like no matter what you go through, it's almost like they're happy that you're struggling. Some of you had to go through serious struggles of homelessness, struggles where you may have lost a job and, had to go to a shelter or living paycheck to paycheck in order to catch the rent and pay the bills. And it's like you were in need all the time. And no matter how much you reached out to your relatives, they would always have an excuse. They would never help you. But the sad thing about this is that you always help them. Like a lot of you have always helped your relatives. You always supported them when they were in trouble. And when you fell on hard times or, things weren't in your favor, you kind of reached out to them and you didn't really want to ask them for nothing because you're not really that kind of person. A lot of you are not the type of person that like to ask people for financial support or a loan or whatever the case is. And it's not really a pride issue, even though you can say it is. It's just that for most of us, we just want to kind of do for ourselves. And, we don't really want everybody in our business because a lot of times people throw it in your face. When people help you, a lot of times they throw it in your face. And for some of you, you may have had family members that may have helped you in a way. Even though they loan you money, they didn't give it to you. They loaned it to you. And then they threw it in your face. They told everybody how they were the one that paid your rent for 3 months and they were the ones that bought you food and how if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have nothing to eat. And it's like they threw that in your face and they embarrassed you publicly and made it look like you were a nobody. And all of that stuff could have been kept confidential. That could have been just between you and your relatives. But they wanted to prove to the world that they were responsible for your success. And because of those situations, there may have been a fallout between you guys. And it haven't been the same ever since. And those are just a couple of things that we deal with in this life, including friends. A lot of our friends from back in the day were really good people. These were people that were stand-up individuals, people that we could count on. We can have good conversations with. We can go places. We can have fun. We don't need no money to hang out. We didn't need nothing. All we had was ourselves, and we were very creative. We knew how to have fun because we can play card games, video games. We could do whatever, and it was never a dull moment. We always had a time to have fun. Whether it was certain holidays that we celebrated as kids or certain gatherings or just going to the park and just finding something to do. We just seemed to never had a dull moment. It was always activity as kids. And I really believe that most of us that grew up in the 80s, between the 70s and 80s, those of us that grew up in that time or was born in that time, I think that we had the best childhood in the history of life. I really believe that. I think that the 70s and 80s babies really had the best upbringing, the best childhood in life, because I think that we grew up in a time where we was able to play freeze tag, hide and go seek, Chinese jump rope. And if you don't know what Chinese jump rope is, then you're living under a rock. We're not talking about jump rope like what women do. We're talking about Chinese jump rope. It was a cool game. We played video games. We went to the parks. We played baseball, basketball, football, steal a bacon, blind man bluff, Monopoly, freeze tag, all different types of games we played. And it was never a dull moment, guys. It was the best time in the world. We would literally chip in, buy a pizza pie, hamburgers. We would split burgers. We would go fishing. We would go to Prospect Park in Brooklyn, New York, as for me. And we would just have fun. Go to Coney Island. We would do so much different things, guys. It was the best time in the world. It was just a time to remember, but unfortunately, we all grew up. And once we grew up, we learned that a lot of our family and friends really wasn't there for us. A lot of our friends either died or they betrayed us. And it's just really, really sad. Not all of them, but for the most part, a lot of the people we grew up with, they all turned against us. And now as adults, when you look back, all of your newer friends that are today, they all betrayed you, and they all talk about you, and it's like you don't know who's who. And this is why I believe that a lot of people need to just roll solo, even though we're really not supposed to be solo in a sense, because we're really a social people. We're supposed to socialize with other human beings. It was never meant for us to be alone. It was never meant for that. It's not good to be alone. I mean, and then you have fellowship between a man and a man. So it's like, and then you have fellowship between a man and a man. So it's like, when you think about that, we need both. You know what I'm saying? As a man, you need to fellowship with other brothers. As a man, you need to have companionship with a woman. You know, as a woman, you should have fellowship with a sister, a woman. You know, you're supposed to have companionship as a woman with a man. And this is the way life is supposed to be. But when you're alone and you don't got nobody, it become a lonely place. You know, a lot of times we don't like to admit it, but a lot of people are lonely. And to cope with the loneliness, you know, they might say they're living their best life and they're enjoying their single life and all that, but really they're not. Then it's nothing. You know, you might have peace in the sense that you're not dealing with certain issues that people would deal with if they were in a relationship. But when you're alone in a house and it's just you there and all you see is your dog or your cat, and it's like that every single night, and there's nobody there, no company, it's like, it becomes very, very boring and lonely. And it's something that we don't like to admit, but it's very, very true. And it's just sad that in today's day, we have so many family and friends that have plotted against us to destroy our lives. Especially as adults right now, we have a lot of these particular friends, futures, try to sabotage what you're trying to do. Information out there about you in hopes that other people won't deal with you, won't work with you, and so forth. And it's really disheartening to see, because it's like you would have never thought that this person who you known from a child can be this cruel. And it's like it's your blood, and this is what they do. It wasn't like that back in the day. It wasn't like that with friends or family. There used to be genuine love with family members. There used to be genuine, friendships where you would, you got to be careful who are your friends now, because they're plotting against you to take you out. They're plotting to take away everything that you built. They're plotting to, ruin what you started, sabotage your growth, to cause you to be alienated from society. And it's just an unfortunate place to be, man. And it just really is a sick time where friends and families will betray you. And if your family haven't betrayed you already, then they will. Some of y'all are experiencing that right now, where your friends have drawn the line in the sand, and they did some things that were out of pocket, and it could have been a situation where maybe you confronted them. You know, maybe you got fed up with it and you said, and spreading these rumors. So you said something about it, and you felt that by you saying something that maybe they'll listen to you, and we could kind of get through this like adults. But it wasn't that case. They didn't want to listen to your correction, or at least your side of the story. And instead they got upset with you, and you realize that this is not a friend. This is somebody that's trying to control me. This is somebody that's trying to create hostility and trying to blame me for something that I didn't do. And consequently, you had to protect your peace. And you kind of either said to yourself, I can't really deal with this person because they're trying to destroy me. And that's the thing. The whole time, they were just using you. And I think that's one of the biggest problems today's day, is that we allow people in our circle, but we don't know that these people don't have our best interests at heart. Like, they really don't. They don't have our best interests at heart. It's like they don't want to see us grow. Some people like seeing you at a certain level. I don't know if any of y'all figured that out by now, but some people are happy with you just being at a certain level in life.